Hey all, today I am going to talk about the great personality from the annals of Indian history. There exists a towering figure whose voice echoed through time, igniting the flames of social reform and rational thought. A man who shattered the chain of discrimination and paved the way for just and equal society. This is the story of E.V. Ramasamy, known to the world as Periyar, the great reformer who stood unwavering in his pursuit of self respect and dignity for all. Ramasamy was born on September 17, 1879, in the Erode district of Tamil Nadu. His father, Venkatar, and mother, Chinnathayamal, worked hard. Through their hard work, they were able to buy bullock carts. Later, they opened a grocery store. After a few years, they established a wholesale shop. They rose to success. Venkatar and his son Krishnaswamy and Ramaswamy became well known in the Erode and Coimbatore region. Venkatar's younger sister lost her husband and lived alone, so she raised Ramasamy in her home with great affection. Even at a young age, Ramasamy was fearless, outspoken, and curious boy. While studying at school, he was later enrolled in an English medium. However, due to his mischievous behavior and frequent fights, he had to discontinue his schooling at the age of 10. From a very young age, Ramasamy questioned the stories from mythology, and Ramasamy surprised everyone by asking thought provoking questions, such as the demon who rolled the world like a mat, did he stand here and roll it? And is Rama truly a hero if he attacked Vali from hiding instead of confronting him directly? He continued asking questions about faith to those who visited their shop. Ramasamy wished to marry his cousin Nagammal, and she too wanted to marry him. However, since Nagamal's family was not financially well off, Ramasamy's parents disapproved of the marriage. Despite their unwillingness, the marriage eventually took place. Being accustomed to the vegetarian diet, Ramasamy initially insisted that Nagamal follow the same. However, he later asked her to cook meat separately for him and even placed bones in the rice pot, leading Nagamal to abandon her vow of vegetarianism. Ramasamy and Nagamal had a daughter, but she passed away at just 5 months old. They did not have a children after that. One day, after a disagreement with her father, Venkatar, a distressed Ramasamy, left home and travelled to Vijayawada, where he stayed in an inn. There he befriended two Brahmins who had also left their homes. The three of them survived by begging for food, cooking together, and spending their time talking in the inn. The Brahmins were excellent storytellers, narrating mythological tales captivatingly. As a result, the people of Vijayawada invited them to speak. Ramasamy translated their Tamil stories into Telugu and added his own humorous insights, which delighted the audience. From Vijayawada, Ramasamy travelled to Kashi. There, he expected to receive free meals at the inn, but the food was reserved only for the Brahmins, while people from other castes were denied food. Driven by extreme hunger, Ramasamy ate leftover food from the plantain leaves. To appear like an ascetic, he shaved his head, applied scarred ash on his forehead, and wore Rudraksha necklace around his neck. He survived by begging for alms. After facing harsh experiences, he travelled to Erode. A local merchant in Erode, upon learning about Ramasamy's condition, wrote a letter to his father, Venkatar. Upon receiving the letter, Venkatar immediately went in search of his son. When he found Ramasamy, he was deeply moved. In a surprising act, Ramasamy handed over all the ornaments he had with him to his father. Astonished, Venkatar asked, "You would have sold these and survived. How did you manage?" Ramasamy replied with wit, "I collected alms from all towns just as I did in Erode with your support." After returning to Erode, Venkatar decided to entrust Ramasamy with responsibilities and transferred ownership of their wholesale business to him. He also sent Ramasamy to represent the family at various local events instead of attending himself. Over time, Ramasamy earned a reputation as a dignified and responsible man, actively participating in public affairs and social service. When he became the head of Temple Management Committee, there were no funds available. However, Though his efficient management, he left the position after several years with an extra of 45,000 rupees. Ramasami's leadership skill gained him the respect of business community, who accepted him as their leader. He resolved various business related issues and later served as the chairman of the municipal council, where he performed exceptionally well. Ramasamy dedicated himself to public service, always prioritizing the welfare of the people over his own well being. He believed that personal hardship were insignificant compared to the greater good of society. During a plague outbreak in Erode, the town people filled in fear. With no one available to cover the deceased, Ramasamy took it upon himself to carry and bury the bodies, despite the risk to his own life. While Ramasamy was serving as the chairman of the Erode Municipal Council, Rajaji was the chairman of the Salem Municipal Council. A friendship developed between the two. In 1920, when Gandhi launched the non-cooperation movement, Rajaji and Varadarajulu Naidu invited Ramasamy to join the Congress party. Although Ramasamy accepted most of Gandhiji's principles, he had differing opinions on some issues. Ramasamy actively propagated Gandhi's ideas across Tamil Nadu. His speeches ignited a desire for freedom among the people. He not only wore khadi clothing himself but also encouraged his mother and wife Nagammal to adopt it. He persuaded his relatives and friends to switch to khadi as well. Ramasamy gave up smoking and jewel beetle leaves. He personally spun thread on spinning wheel and sold khadi garments by going street to street. While participating in the freedom movement, he was deeply troubled by the prevailing untouchability among the people. He questioned, if a human being cannot touch another human being, then is the God one enforcing this? As a part of non-cooperation movement, Gandhi insisted the people should renounce titles and positions given by the British and boycott English schools and courts. In line with this, Ramasamy resigned from 29 public positions he held, including the prestigious position of honorary magistrate, for the sake of the nation. This too significant financial losses for him. Ramasamy took Gandhi's propagation movement very seriously. To discourage the extraction of toddy from palm trees, he cut down 500 palm trees, his own plantation. In 1922, the Congress session was held in Bombay and Nagammal became a Congress committee member. Ramasamy is also known as the hero of Vaikom. In the town of Vaikom, Kerala, there was a temple dedicated to Vaikom Thappan. The roads surrounding the people were restricted for people considered untouchabilities. In 1924, people protested against this discrimination, but the Travancore ruler imprisoned the protesters. The leaders in the prison wrote letter to Ramasamy. Then they travelled to Vaikom and initiated the movement. His speeches inspired the people, leading to a strong upspring. Ramasamy was eventually arrested and imprisoned. During his imprisonment, Nagammal took charge of the movement and led it effectively. After being released in the month, Ramasamy resumed the protest. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison. After the demise of the ruling king, the new queen ascended to thrones and ordered that all three roads be opened to everyone. This movement became the first successful social struggle against untouchability in India. The Navashakti newspaper editor Thiru V. Kalyana Sundaranam hailed Ramasamy as the Vaikom Veerar. In Cheran Mahadev, Tirunelveli, a Gurukulam was run under the leadership of VVS Iyer. The institution practiced strict caste-based discrimination, where Brahmins were given separate food and others were served separately. Ramasamy strongly opposed this practice. He received support from leaders like Thiru V. Kalyana Sundaranam and Dr. Varadarajulu Naidu. Eventually, the Gurukulam was shut down. Ramasamy encouraged intercaste marriages and led protesters to remove caste-based provision in law. Ramasamy conducted a protest to remove advertisements that promoted discrimination. He firmly believed in the principle of the equality for all. Ramasamy actively advocated for women's education, economic independence, remarriage, and equal rights. Women expressed their admiration for him on November 13, 1938, during the Tamil Nadu Women's Conference in Chennai. Women awarded him the title Periyar, the Great One, in recognition of his contribution to women's progress and rights. In 1944, after delivering a speech at a public meeting in Kudalur, Periyar was attacked by the opponent who threw a shoe at him while he was riding in a rickshaw. Despite the companion objection, Periyar asked the rickshaw driver to turn back. He quipped, "He has thrown only one shoe. He still has another. If I go back, he might throw the second one as well. Wouldn't that be beneficial to me?" This made the people to think how Ramasamy was humble and kind he was. As the leader of self-respect movement, Periyar was imprisoned during the anti-Hindi protest. During this imprisonment, leaders of the Justice Party elected him as their leader. In 1940, when the Congress government in Madras province resigned, the governor invited Periyar to form a government. Periyar declined. In 1944, he renamed the Justice Party as Dravida Kalagam. He declared that the party would not contest election or accept governmental positions but would focus on social reforms. Periyar advocated reservation as a way to uplift the oppressed caste who had been denied opportunities for thousands of years. He said those oppressed in the name of caste can be uplifted using the same caste identity through reservations. His relentless efforts led the 1951 constitutional amendment, which solidified reservation policies. This empowered millions of people to access education and employment, improving their lives significantly. The Indian Constitution was adopted on November 26, 1949. On November 4, 1957, Periyar organized an anti-caste conference in Tanjavur, attended by 2 lakh people. He announced a protest to burn the constitution on November 26, as it upheld caste discrimination. Around 10,000 people were participated and over 3,000 were sentenced to prison terms, ranging from 6 months to 3 years. 18 protesters lost their lives in prison. Periyar campaigned for the right of all castes to enter temples cantram and serve a priest. He dismantled barriers preventing the oppressed from accessing temple and advocated for equality in religious practices. Periyar played a key role in abolishing the Devadasi system, where women were dedicated to temples under the guise of serving deities. He called this practice a violation of human dignity and morality. His efforts, supported by activists like Ramamitran Ammal, eventually led to the legal abolition of Devadasi system. Periyar propagated his idea through journals like Kudiyarasu, Vidudalai, Unmai, Dravidam, Just and the Modern Rationalist. These publications aimed to enlighten the masses and were run without profit motives. Through the Rationalist Publication House, Periyar published books that promoted awareness and rational thoughts. In 1952, he established the Periyar Self-Respect Propaganda Institution, which made books on global intellectuals, revolutionary leaders, and progressive ideals accessible to affordable prices. Maniammai joined Periyar to assist in his social reform efforts. In 1949, at the age of 71, Periyar thought about securing the future of his wealth and ideology. To ensure continuity, he decided to entrust Maniammai with these responsibilities. Since adopting a female heir was not legally permitted, he married Maniammai through a registered marriage. Maniammai lived up to his expectations and carried forward his mission with dedication. On December 8, 1973, Periyar organized a Tamil Dignity Conference. On December 19th, at a public meeting in T Nagar, Chennai, he declared, "If we live, we must live with dignity. If not, it is better to die." This became his last speech. On December 24, 1973, Periyar passed away due to ill health. His body was brought from Vellore to Chennai and laid to rest with due to respect at the Periyar Thidal, without any religious rituals. Today, Periyar's ideals continue to inspire generations. His fight against inequality, his vision for just society, and his unwavering commitment to rational thought make him immortal in the hearts of millions. Let us remember his words and carry forward his mission, for the fight for equality never ends.